Y'all come in here and shut the door. Ish is going down in Diddy's camp. And unlike what everybody said about, oh my God, he only left for creative differences, they are saying that Diddy's attorney actually might be feds. And this is the nail in Diddy's coffin. Now, I know he thought was dancing the jig because Tony Busby, we'll talk about that in a different video. He just messed everything up. And anybody that still believes that, you know what? We'll talk about that in a different video. Let's get down to what's going on in Diddy case. If you guys don't know, Diddy's attorney, Anthony Ricco, unceremoniously bowed out. He could have left quietly. Instead, he made a big kerfuffle. Literally, this was the equivalent of somebody literally throwing dinner table plates on the floor and saying, I'm out. I'm sick of you. He literally said, I cannot do this because of ethical concerns. A lot of people are like, Tony, what are you talking about? What ethical concerns? I'm going to give a shout out to BB. BB brought up an article that blew my mind. Diddy's attorney may well be feds, and there is a shocking, and I mean shocking, Epstein link, and not in the way you think, to Diddy's attorney that just quit, Anthony Ricco, and this whole case. And it looks like Mark Agnifilo actually might have caught Diddy slipping, or he's extracted every penny he can get out of Diddy, and he is just moving on to greener pastures. Y'all, buckle up. This is going to be a long live. I promise you the information I give you, no one is going to have. We have exclusive content straight from the Southern District of New York. And I promise you, you have not heard this on any other media, but when you hear it, your mouth will drop open. Okay. Now, let's start from the beginning. Anthony Ricco quit unceremoniously. A lot of legal experts raised their eyes and said, what could actually be going on? Even social media noticed. I pulled up a couple of tweets just for y'all to see. Can y'all see them? Hold on, y'all. Even social media noticed. They said Diddy wanted, I hate when they ruin my rollout. They said lawyers rep, this is Justin Tinsley on Twitter, and he had a good point. Lawyers rep guilty people all the time, but this is different, especially involving the stakes and the profile of the case. Whatever the feds have is said to be damning beyond belief. They said Buddy repped bin Laden. He did represent Osama bin Laden and said enough is enough. He refused to represent Diddy. Now, again, this does not bode well for Mark Agnifilo. Mark Agnifilo, a lot of people have said he is just selling dreams to Diddy, but at this point, all Diddy should have is dreams and nightmares. But there's another tweet I want to read you before we get into Anthony Ricco's shocking past and the reason people are saying that they think this man is feds. Let's get into this, all right? Let's see. Hold on, let's get into this. So anyway, Fuller Initiative, Metro Adlib on Twitter says Diddy wanted him to lie, and she is a lawyer, or Diddy told him that Diddy was going to lie. He said, I'm going to lie, back me up. Or Diddy wanted him to lie, or Diddy told him he was going to lie, and then Diddy threatened him, okay? Again, the whole legal community is in a kerfuffle in front of about this. Really sweet. Alaquandria, what's up, Miss Glover? Alaquandria said, hey, Tease, I'm here on time with my drink in hand. What's up, Alaquandria? How y'all doing? Okay, so that's all set. Now, let's get into the real actual D. Also, Victor Wiggins, what's up? How's everybody doing today? Now, let's get actually into the real tea, because I did a little digging into Anthony's past, and this is not the first time he has quit a case like this and made a huge media splash, okay? BB, thank you so much, brought this to my attention. When was the first time that Anthony actually quit a case like this? When was the first time that he actually did? Well, I'll tell y'all. See, Anthony didn't just represent Diddy. He also represented Sammy the Bull, right? Sammy the Bull. If you guys don't know, he was a notorious mobster. I think he was a hitman. Rene Graziano's father. He turned Fed informant, okay? They said mob turned corp. Salvatore Sammy the Bull Gravano must get a new lawyer to defend him on a murder rap in connection with the brutal slaying of the NYPD detective, a New Jersey judge ruled yesterday. Defense lawyer, just pay attention, y'all. Defense lawyer Anthony Ricco, that is Diddy's former lawyer, said he requested to be relieved as Sammy's lawyer because Ricco will testify during the trial that the prosecution's star witness, Richard the Iceman Kalinsky, solicited, hold on, y'all, let me get this out, solicited about, just got my phone. He's going to testify. I can't read that. Sorry, y'all. You're going to have to deal with me, right? Again, Diddy's lawyer quit Sammy the Bull's case in much the same fashion, and he actually testified for the prosecution. Now, a lot of people are saying that Diddy might not have known that his lawyer may be feds, but we got even more damning proof. But I just want to read you this article before we get into the real tea, okay? So they are saying that, where are we at? Sorry, guys. Here we go. They're saying that the Iceman, okay, so he quit that case because he agreed to testify during the trial that the prosecution's star witness, Richard Iceman Kalinsky, solicited a $200,000 bribe from Ricco to make the case go away. Okay, Kalinsky was a convicted murderer. Defense lawyer Anthony Ricco said he requested to be relieved as Sammy's lawyer because Ricco will be testifying during the trial that the prosecutor's star witness, Richard the Iceman Kalinsky, solicited $200,000 bribe from Ricco to make the case go away. Kalinsky, convicted murderer, made the offer in April while Ricco and his co-counsel visited him in prison. Ricco said Kalinsky wrote down and passed along the bribe offer, and afterward, Ricco immediately called the cops. Hackensack Judge William granted Ricco's request and told Sammy to get a new lawyer. Now, I know what you're saying. Okay, but Sammy wasn't the one bribing, right? However, they are saying that Sammy's, when you look at the case, the Iceman was trying to work in coordination with Sammy to evade prosecution and to evade the law. So basically, Sammy the Bull, the Iceman, and they wanted Ricco to take a bribe and basically lie about what he saw, what he heard, whatever it was. As soon as he found out about the bribe and it was offered, and again, it's saying it was offered on behalf of Sammy the Bull, Ricco called the feds and said, you know what? I'm not doing this. I'm out. Y'all not taking me to hell. And he requested immediately, Your Honor, I must be removed from this case. And I have to testify that I was offered a bribe. I know it was from the prosecution's star witness, but they were all trying to cover up for Sammy the Bull. That is why Ricco ran from that case. Now, when I heard this, and thank you so much, BB, for sending this, I was like, yo, that means that this man must have some really, really, really deep ties to the feds, because something's not adding up. Even the way he defended Osama bin Laden, and I don't care what y'all say, if Diddy says this is a railroad trial, you cannot tell me the Osama bin Laden trial was not a railroad trial. Now, you can say it was for obvious reasons or not, but you can't tell me. What's up, Red? What's up, Red Christmas? How y'all doing? What's up? I'm going to give a shout out to Red. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate this, all right? So anyway, right? Now, where did I actually get this little piece of information that I swear to God, I think is going to blow you guys' mind? Okay. So I'll go over all the reasons why a lawyer can quit the case, okay? Let me just pull that up really quick, because I want to go over all the reasons why a lawyer could actually quit a case, because I did a video about it, but I think some of y'all actually didn't hear what I was actually saying. Hold on, let's go over the 7 reasons why a lawyer can or will withdraw from a case, and why the legal community thinks that he actually did it. Just how y'all doing today? Is everybody's weekend going really well? I hope it is. Yes, I am furiously starving, literally working as fast as I can to find this information. I've been Googling beauty tea, and my whole search engine is just about how goji berries are supposed to be really good for your complexion. Also, I did a really good live with Tiffany Red about Chloe Bailey and the way she is being accused of doing horrible things. And they're saying that Parkwood is either not advising her right or letting her run amok. Go ahead and check out that live with Tiffany Red. It's actually really going to shock you. I'm sitting here thinking, Beyonce, Chloe, they must not know what the lawyer's doing, because I feel like if they did, they would go out and actually make it right. But let's get into this, right? So they're saying that all the reasons, I'll run through real quick, and then I'll let you know the bombshell on, I think this is a smoking gun, that Tony Ricco is feds. And Diddy asked him to either do something illegal, or he's been, because remember the Fed said that they have been running a covert investigation the whole time. Now, how did Diddy find Anthony Ricco? Well, magically, Diddy was in solitary confinement. And Diddy was kept away from everybody. But magically, something happened. And Diddy, I think, got a cellmate, or he's in the same wing as this billionaire guy that was doing like wire fraud. I don't know, like whatever, right? Diddy's talking about he's so popular in jail. But one of the reasons people are saying he's so popular is, let's be real, I'm sure that if they can get him on camera admitting to something, Diddy will admit to something, as people can get like 10, 20, 30, I don't know how many years off of their sentence. You are a hot commodity, Diddy, because at the end of the day, whoever can get you to snitch is going to get a commuted sentence, or they might get out for early release. Magically, Diddy was put in a cell on the same wing with this billionaire guy that is looking at like money fraud, all this stuff. He wants to get his charges reduced. Magically, he suggests Anthony Ricco to Diddy. Diddy took Anthony Ricco. Anthony Ricco has been on the case, I think, for about 3 or 4 months. And now that the feds are about to drop their superseding indictment, Anthony Ricco is leaving the case. Now, that's just one piece of information. Keep that in your mind, because I have real damning evidence, but I just want to read this really quick, and then we'll get to the really damning evidence, okay? So why are all the legal experts saying that this man quit? One, you discovered your client had criminal conduct. They said that Anthony might have uncovered evidence that Diddy committed crimes beyond the charges at hand, especially if those crimes involve lying to the attorney or using legal counsel to further illegal activities. Imagine discovering that Diddy was running a Ricco organization or tampering with witnesses. Now, again, Diddy is locked up because he was tampering with witnesses, and the feds went so far as to say that not only was he operating a Ricco thing behind bars, but I remember in that last filing, everybody skipped over it, but I remember them saying that Diddy was actively using his counsel to make three-way calls, to do things he shouldn't have been doing. And to me, I'm like, it sounds like his attorneys are part of that criminal thing. They either said it could either be that maybe he had ethical dilemmas or complicity concerns. They said Anthony Ricco might fear becoming, and these are from literally some of the top lawyers, okay? Anthony Ricco might fear becoming complicit in Diddy's unethical or illegal behavior, such as realizing that Diddy wants to present false evidence, or he wants to commit perjury. The risk of losing their license or facing criminal charges would force Anthony to kind of be like, yeah, got to get out of this. Mark Agnifilio is not new to this. He's true to this. He is going to go down with the ship if the ship goes down. They said there might have been some type of conflict between Anthony or Diddy. They said, listen, sometimes when it's really, really hard, there's like really, really bad personality conflicts that happen. Like Diddy refusing to follow legal advice, lying to his lawyer, or even threatening their lawyer. This maybe could hint at behind the scenes chaos where Anthony Ricco no longer trusts Diddy. Now, Again, I'm reading this in the order of likelihood that they think it is. Non-payment or broken agreements. And they said, listen, Tisa, this is a little bit less scandalous, but Diddy refusing to pay legal fees could also lead to him withdrawing, okay? Though it paired with whispers of financial fraud or mismanagement, it becomes a juicier story. Here's what they said, right? Because he said, I'm leaving for ethical concerns, right? Because he said that he was leaving for ethical concerns, you have to think that it wasn't simply that he wasn't paying the bills. However, Diddy is being accused of Ricco organization. I believe there are suspicions of money laundering. The feds are monitoring all of Diddy's accounts. Why? Because they're into, what do you call it? Not foreclosure, but forfeiture. That's when the feds say, oh, this was bought by illegal money. We taking everything back. They watch your assets like a hawk. If Diddy is being accused of money laundering and offshore accounts and wire fraud and bank fraud that usually comes with RICO cases, what if while the feds are watching all that stuff, Diddy has secret accounts overseas, and that's what he's paying Mark Agnifilio from, and that's what he's paying the lawyer from. And the lawyer is like, I don't want any parts of this. You either give me some money out of a U.S. bank account that the feds know about or not, because if you don't, I am literally helping you commit wire fraud. You know, I'm helping you further this RICO organization, and I'm helping you conceal assets from the United States federal government. But hold on, it gets deeper, okay? There could be moral or reputational concerns. Now, they laugh when they said this because, like the tweets pointed out, he's represented bin Laden. He has represented stone cold murderers. He has represented the worst of the worst with people with no moral integrity. So they said it's weird, right? They said that Diddy's actions that he knows about might be so heinous or publicly condemned that Anthony Ricco fears representing him will permanently damage his reputation, especially if Anthony suspected that Diddy is guilty of something even worse than what's publicly known. Now that they laugh because they were like, Anthony Ricco, like defense lawyers, to be a good defense lawyer, you can't really have a moral compass. All you gotta do is take like the devil and try to defend them as best as you can. Also, internal team fallout. They said there might be behind the scenes power struggles within the defense team that could also lead for Anthony to step down, especially if Anthony disagrees with Mark Agnifilio's strategy or believes the defense is heading toward disaster. Now, keep that in mind. Just a few more things, right? Again, they said, listen, the way this is so dramatic, Anthony could have, just to summarize, might have found out that Diddy tried to bribe a witness, commit crimes while he is in jail, or even plan to throw Anthony Ricco under the bus to save themselves. The mention that the fact that the government takes no position on the withdrawal might suggest that the government knows something juicy is going on, but is staying out of it for now. Now, when I heard all that and I talked to people and I saw the way he kind of did this with Sammy the Bull and the way it was always like bribery or lying, and he's like, nah, I'm not getting in touch with this. I was like, yo, I need to do some more digging. And you guys, when I tell you, right? When I tell you what I found in the Epstein link, not the Diddy, but Anthony Ricco and the feds was so strong, yo, I think Diddy's attorney might be feds. I'm not joking. I think Diddy's attorneys Anthony Ricco might be part of the covert thing. I know what you're saying, attorney-client privilege, and this might be why Mark Agnifilio and Diddy were going crazy. What's up, Jamie? Listen, as soon as I'm done this, we're gonna film. Me and Jamie are starting a podcast. I'm actually late for filming. I decided to do this live instead of film, but when this is over, we go on get the podcast. What's up, Jamie? Jamie said, my thoughts are Anthony never wanted to be part of it, but if that's your people, you don't want to look like a hater. So he joined. But what if he was looking for a reason to get out? Maybe, Jamie, but I don't think so. There's this connection that I discovered, and you're not going to see this on any court documents. I put my ear to the street. I did a little investigation, and this, I swear to God, is going to blow your mind. Even the Epstein connection. And I guarantee you this is exclusive. Nobody, and it's not the Diddy Epstein connection. It's Attrny, Ricco, Epstein, and the connection to the feds. Okay, so hear me out, right? And just let me cook. Just let me cook, because you got to hear the whole story to understand why it's so shocking, okay? So, you know how Epstein was found swinging from the rafters, I imagine, in his cell, right? And when it happened, there were 2 guards, right? There were 2 guards. Now, let me back up a little bit. So, in court, okay, I'll do this. So there were 2 guards. I'm trying to walk around it so they can't discover who told me this information. And I'm just trying to stick to the public thing. This is not conspiracy. This actually happened, okay? So you know with Jeffrey Epstein, there were 2 guards that were supposed to be on duty while it happened. But both guards said, oh my God, I didn't see what happened. We were both sleeping by babies. We were eating. Like, what's the big deal? I'm so sorry. You know, they heard, yo, he is dead. And they were like, oh no, somebody check the tapes. And then the feds were like, yo, there's no tapes. No, there's no tapes. Wow, then how are we going to find how this happened to Epstein? Oh my word. But because the public was like, wait, what is going on? The officers were put on administrative leave with no pay, and they actually went to trial. Now, you might be saying, Tisa, how come I never heard about this trial? Because I'll tell you, because the trial was not put on any public records. So I know what you're saying. So then, Tisa, how'd you find out about the trial? Well, this is what I do. I investigate stuff when I have time, right? When I'm not being messy, I love investigating stuff. So how did we find out about the trial? Well, the funny thing is, even when trials are not put on the public docket, even when trials are not advertised, there must be a record of a trial. And where did you find a record of a trial when it is kept off of public dockets? Well, in every trial in the Southern District of New York, and I think all federal courthouses, there's certain things you need, right? One, you always need there to be a court reporter. You need there to be a judge. You need there sometimes to be a jury. It depends on whether it's a bench trial or it's a jury trial, right? Bench is when the judge is judge and jury. Jury is when the jury is jury and the judge is the judge, right? You need a bailiff, right? You need a defense, and you need the prosecution. Those are the things you need. But what else do you need? Mandated. I don't know if it's mandated by law, but it's definitely mandated by custom. You need a court sketch artist. You need a court sketch artist. And with the court sketch artist, there's certain things, and it has to be in every trial, because there needs to be some type of proof, especially if trials are kept off the docket, that the people were actually in court, that things were actually happening. This literally is because they don't allow cameras and they don't allow phones or photos in the court. And even the courts don't take a picture of the client as they come in. So you need, and this is very antiquated, but you know, law is antiquated in tradition. Just hear me out. The sketch artist must be there because they operate also as definitive proof that the client or whoever was argued was actually in court. So somebody can't come back and be like, guess what? I was never there. I never said that. I never testified. This is a setup. I was never in court. Again, it's very antiquated, but it's a rule that still stands. The court sketch artist must be there to sketch. Now, here's the interesting thing about the court sketch artist. If a trial is not on the dockets, and the trial is not publicly streamed, and it's kept off of public dockets because it's very sensitive information, and you only have those things, you can't really trust what the court reporter says because it's private. It's not, it's like classified. but the sketches. What is in the sketches, right? And you can't find this by going on the Pacer. You can't find this. You literally have to be in the courthouse and you have to know the court sketch artist or know of there, and you have to know people in the courthouse. Okay. Now, if you guys walk in the Southern District of New York and blah, 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 but this actually exists, right? What does the sketch artist does? It doesn't have to tell you everything that happened in trial, but the sketches have to clearly say who is featured in the sketches, who's the prosecution, who's the defense, who's the judge. They're all featured in the sketch, and it has to be clearly labeled. It has to show who the judge is, who the prosecution is. But interestingly enough, it has to show the resolution of the case. It has to actually make note very briefly of the resolution of the case, because they sketch when the person is sentenced and when he's convicted, and then they sketch when he is sentenced. Again, has to show all the people, and then it has to tell you very briefly what the resolution of the case was. When we go back to those Epstein 2 guards, it's not on public dockets. However, if you walk the halls of, I think it's Southern District of New York, if you walk the halls and you ask, hey, can I see the sketches? Can I see this? Can I see that? The sketches show you what the resolution of the case is. So let's get back to those 2 Epstein guards, right? Even though he died on their watch while they were either sleeping or they were, I don't know, eating, whatever they said they were doing. And even though there was no tape, and even though they were like, oh my word, what happened? Even though all that was going on, guess what the resolution of that case was, according to the court sketch artist? Both officers were retired early. They were given front pay, which means if retirement age is 65 and they had 20 more years to work or 30 more years to work, or even 5 more years to go work, they would give you all your pay that you are due between the date of the trial where they decided this and until your retirement date. So again, if they are 30 years old and they can retire at 65, they will pay them for 30 years of work, and then they get their retirement. But get this, they were also giving back pay. They got to keep their pensions, which is their retirement, and they got no admonishment for anything that happened with Epstein. Now, we can go off on the tangent and be like, yo, I don't believe Epstein murked himself at this point. I think that Epstein literally got some plastic surgery and got reassigned. If anybody sees somebody that looks like a Kardashian that's 7 feet tall, because Epstein was very, very tall, out in the Bahamas, all I got to say is you better run. You better run. But getting back to that, how do we know this is a resolution? Because if you go and you ask to see the court sketches, the pictures from the court sketcher on that day that was in that courtroom, okay? In the notes for the sketches where they say this is a picture of Diddy talking to his lawyer, this about, right? Don't forget they label, because even though it is archived, because no cameras and no video is allowed in federal courthouses at all, besides closed circuit TV, right? You need something to prove who was there, what happened. Now, are you with me now? We get it? So this exists. You can go to the courthouse yourself. That's how we know what happened to those guards. Now, you know what? Do you want to hear something funny? Who was representing those guards? Remember I said the prosecutor was there? Remember I said if you go to, you see the date? And I said the judge? Why don't y'all tell me who you think was representing those guards? If you are saying that Anthony M.F.M. Ricco, Diddy's lawyer, was the one that represented the guards that were on duty, that literally got no admonishment, they got front pay, they got back pay, they got retirement, and they got their pensions, and no admonishment on their records. They didn't even get a slap on the hands. They literally got a golden retirement. And this is Anthony Ricco, the same man that was repping Diddy, the same man that was representing Sammy the Bull. And as soon as he got a bribe, said, oh, and quit and said, sorry, I can't do this. I have to testify for the prosecution, whatever. Now, around this time, I started thinking, is this mofo feds? Because let's also not forget that this trial that they kept off the public docket, but it actually happened in less than 90 days. And the feds, that's why they got no admonishment. The feds dropped all the charges. And the feds dropped all the charges. Now, when I heard this, I said, and how did Diddy? Well, let's take a step back. So you might be like, okay, Tisa, I see that's weird, but where does it come from Anthony Ricco being fed? Because he represented these two officers, to which I would say, how did they find Anthony Ricco? How did Anthony Ricco find them? These weren't criminal charges. These weren't Osama bin Laden charges. These charges were not on the level that a Mr. Anthony Ricco, and it wasn't even the thing. It wasn't a criminal case. You see what I'm saying? This was an administrative case, but it wasn't a criminal case. So how'd you find Anthony Ricco? No, really. How did you find Anthony Ricco, these two guards, for a secret case that no one except for the judge, the jury, the prosecutor, the court reporter, that's the person that types, and they're like, read it back. Counselor says, Your Honor, you are a dumb A.B. and my client, and the court sketch artist. How did you find about a secret admin trial that is not in your forte? It's not criminal. It's admin. So they weren't going to go to jail for this. This was just to see whether they would get their pension or not. And maybe if it didn't go well, if it rose to the level of criminal, they might have gone to jail, but that would have been after the admin was over and they would have to prove that they basically helped assassinate Jeffrey Epstein. Do you see what I'm saying? Anyway, hold on, guys. Let me get more comfortable. So when you look at it, it's like, but hold on a second. How'd y'all find Anthony? How'd you find Anthony Ricco? How did Anthony Ricco find you? Why would he take the case? Why was the case in secret? And how did he represent you so well that you guys not only just didn't get fired, because at the end of the day, if you are on shift and both of you magically go to sleep or lunch at the same time and there's no footage and the person is swinging from the rafters, at the very least, you are a bad, what do you call the people in the prison? You are a bad prison guard and you need to be fired. How did Anthony Ricco come out the blue? How did the officers even find him? Why did Anthony even take this case? It's none of his thing. And from that, the case happened within 90 days from Jeffrey Epstein being found swinging from the rafters. The feds dropped all charges. They got early retirement, front pay, back pay. They got to keep their pensions, and they got no admonishment. Now, let's cut to, how did Diddy find Anthony Ricco? And remember, the Fed said that there is an ongoing covert operation going on right now. And Diddy's been going crazy. You tell me who is it? He is sliding down the walls. Tell me, who is it? I need to know. They are throwing everything they can at the judge. We need to know. The prosecutions are like, how's it feel to want? We need to know. And the prosecution is looking at Diddy saying, you need to change your name to Sean Diddy Combs Need More. Diddy needs more information. Diddy needs more this. Diddy needs more that. That's what you need to change your name to. All right? So how did he come? How did he find him? Because the lawyer for the tech billionaire who defrauded, who needs time down, who needs to rat somebody out so he can go out and scam some more working class people. Well, guess what? Magically, he got put in a cellmate with Diddy. Now, oddly enough, Before that happened, I do remember an interesting tidbit that just came and went that nobody really noticed. Or maybe y'all did. I know I noticed. You know Tekashi 6ix9ine, the infamous, he is an infamous snitch, an infamous federal informant, infamous. He delights in it. He helped take down half of Chicago, along with his little flunky academics. But all jokes aside, he is a notorious Fed informant. Okay? Well, alleged. Let's just say people have said he's a notorious. Let me just say this. I don't know if Tekashi 6ix9ine is a federal informant. I am saying that if and when we find out he is, I'm not going to be surprised. That's what I'll say about this. Tekashi magically had a violation in his parole when Diddy got put in that place. There was a violation of parole. And he turned himself in to go to the MDC where Diddy was staying and magically got put on the same wing as Diddy. And he stayed there for a couple of weeks. And then he left. And there was no trial. It was just like, oh, you know what? It's fine. He violated parole. It's fine. Let's put him back in the open public. And then he stayed there for a few weeks. And then he left. Now, when I heard that, even before the prosecution admitted they were doing a covert investigation, I said, they are everybody. And Diddy was talking about, I'm the belle of the ball. Everybody wants to be in my cell. Everybody wants to be my friend. They treat me like I'm a celebrity. And I said, Diddy, are you that stupid? You are a celebrity because you are literally a walking, talking, mouth breathing, get out of jail free card. Whoever can open you up and make that chopper sing, you literally, well, Diddy, it might be metaphorically and physically, right? Whoever can literally open you up and make you sing like a canary, they will be getting out of jail either free or early. Found it funny that Tekashi just got, oh, look, a parole violation. And then after that, he was there for 3 weeks and they're like, yeah, he's been released. You got picked up for a parole violation, 3 weeks, there was no hearing, no nothing, and then you just got released, right? They know that Diddy may or may not love the touch of a strong hand. And we all know that Diddy loves, a bad bee that's very like flamboyant. And Tekashi 6ix9ine, I wonder if they let him keep his rainbow lace front wig. Remember Tekashi was wearing rainbow lace front wigs and Act was looking at him with dreamy star eyes. But I would call him Fluffy Dimmicks, but I too have been humbled because I am Fluffy T says. So I'm going to have to get in shape before I can call academics Fluffy Dimmicks. Actually, no, we're both fluffy. Fluffy Dimmicks. All right? We're both fluffy. Takes one to know one, right? My whole point of the matter is, that's my whole point of the matter. The fact that I believe they tried to drop Tekashi in there, that all of Diddy's, everybody on half of that ward is trying to get some information that can get it out. And here we go again, Anthony Ricco. And oddly enough, and it could just be coincidence, the Enterprise letter is about to drop. The Enterprise letter is when they are going to actually name his co-defendants and the other superseding indictments. He's already had one superseding indictment. That was just telling him to calm his ass and calm down and stop. Literally, this was the last superseding indictment. People are like, oh, there's nothing here. And I'm like, yeah, but they literally said we have till March 17th by the judge's original court order to actually bring some more information. We got till March 17th, right? So literally the superseding indictment they gave was the legal equivalent of them being like, damn, Diddy, stop texting us. Stop calling me. Literally, Diddy's like, no, we need to talk. That was the equivalent. But like, damn, will you stop calling me? Stop texting my phone. Stop calling my phone. It's not happening. Leave me alone. And that's what they said. And the judge said, yeah, Diddy, stop. You're not getting any more information. So again, I find this odd, but even the client, and it makes me think of Anthony Ricco. I know what you're saying, but it's illegal for feds with the lawyers, attorney-client privilege. I know. And far be it from me to suggest that the feds would ever do anything that underhanded. And I don't think they would, but I do think that Epstein, the prison guard, this and that, I believe that Anthony Ricco may be very comfortable with not just the feds, or maybe he's just smart. Maybe he saw Diddy doing a bunch of illegal shit. And he was like, I'm not doing this. Maybe he saw Mark Agnifilo and Diddy doing a bunch of illegal shit because Diddy got 50, 60 million to blow through. And Mark Agnifilo is like, I like money, right? I like money. Give some more. And he was like, yo, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. Regardless, I do think, right? Regardless, I do think Diddy is, and I get it. I get what you guys are saying. Anybody would snitch on anybody would snitch on somebody that essayed kids and a trafficker and all this stuff. I get it. I get it. I get it. Right. Um, but, but I think there's something more with like, okay, I don't like it. Two, let me sit in this fool's face and see if he can give me any information. Because if he can give me any information, baby, we are set for life. Listen, they said, y'all know they plant, which is true. Who said this? Miss Tate. What's up, Miss Tate said, y'all know they plant fake prisoners on the inside to live as an inmate to get confession. And it's undercover cop the whole time. Exactly. Exactly. Woo! Listen, at the end of the day, you guys now know something that a lot of people didn't. Oddly enough, Mark Agnifilo is spinning out of control because he is trying to, for the public perception and for the jury perception, but definitely more for the lawyer's perception. Because if I was the prosecution, I would have just cracked up. Literally had my ginger tea, ordered my favorite cookies, and just giggled to myself the whole time. This is a definitive show of weakness. It's showing that Diddy is not ready to go to trial. It's showing that the Diddy is still engaged in illegal behavior. Again, for you and me, the norms, we might be like, oh, that's weird. For the judge, for the prosecution, this is literally a bat signal. And it was so weird the way he literally just said, oh, and responded in a huff. Anyway, also, Diddy's ex-attorney, TMZ is reporting that Diddy's ex-attorney quit over defense strategy battle. Is that what it was? Listen to this. This is the official thing that Mark Agnifilo is giving. Agnifilo is giving, and maybe they're telling the truth. But Mark Agnifilo also stood in a federal court and lied to them about Diddy having access to certain things. And then the next court case acted like he didn't even lie. So Mark Agnifilo will mislead the court, the judge, and not care. So imagine what Mark Agnifilo is doing to the public. I mean, we are not the judge or jury. They said Diddy has one less lawyer fighting for him heading into his federal trial because his legal team couldn't get on the same page regarding the best defense for him. What did Anthony Ricco say? Fool, they got you, did the right, you better connect. Or honestly, this is one thing I didn't consider. Did Anthony Ricco get upset because Diddy was trying to pull the race card, saying that I'm being picked on because I'm a black man and no black man has ever, no white men have ever been prosecuted the way I'm being prosecuted? I mean, do y'all think that's what it is? I mean, when I heard it, I was offended. Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, they said sources with direct knowledge of Anthony Ricco's exit from Diddy's camp tell us there's been a power struggle going on between lead attorney Mark Agnifilo and him for several months, and it finally came to a head. They said, as we reported, Anthony Ricco shook up Diddy's team Friday morning by informing the judge he could no longer effectively defend his client, but his filing lacked detail about why he was jumping ship. We're told the battle, first of all, you're not allowed to give those details in a court filing because you're not allowed to give details that may damage your client's case. They said, we're told the battle within Team Diddy centered around the sex trafficking allegations, and there was a disagreement on how to handle that part of the federal indictment when they go to trial. For his part, Mark Agnifilo has repeatedly denied the trafficking charge and instead says the so-called freak-offs always involve consensual sex between Diddy, a girlfriend, and a third party. Well, first of all, Diddy had straight up can I say gang bangs? Like, Diddy, are you serious? Now this is just a loving threesome, if that can even be considered, right? Because I will stand on this hill. Anyone that is engaging in threesomes, I do think that your partner does not like you and you don't realize it, but you are interviewing your replacement until they find someone that they're so satisfied with, they don't have to. I'm just saying, man or woman, stop interviewing your replacement. Stop it. Stand firm. Stand firm. They are going to have to hire somebody behind your back, but you're not interviewing or training your replacement. I'm just saying. Anyway, right? Okay, so they're saying, as reported, Agnifilio filed a motion to dismiss count 3 of the indictment, which is all about the Mann Act, the transportation of individuals to engage in prostitution. Our sources say Ricco grew frustrated when his efforts to speak directly to Diddy about legal strategies were thwarted by Mark Agnifilio, and that's why he felt he couldn't properly defend Diddy. We're also told that Ricco strongly believed they wouldn't be ready to go to trial by May 5th, the scheduled start date, and thought they should ask the judge for more time. However, Agnifilio strongly disagreed and said it's May 5th or bust, and push came to shove and Ricco pieced out. Our sources connected to Diddy told us Ricco's departure is much ado about nothing, saying lead defense attorneys Agnifilio and Tinny Garagos have been rock solid for almost a year now. We reached out to Diddy's reps for comment, but no word back. Agnifilio made it clear in TMC's The Downfall of Diddy documentary he wants to go to trial as soon as possible, and in today's filing, Ricco told the judge his departure would not delay Diddy's defense. Y'all, what y'all think about this in light of everything we know about Agnifilio and his very close relationship to the feds, his link to Epstein, the Epstein guards, the way they even found them, Sammy the Bull, but there's even Osama bin Laden. You cannot believe, if you're American, that Osama bin Laden, again, I'm not getting into whether he is guilty or not. I'm getting into, you cannot believe that he actually had a fair trial. Like, people that steal loaves of bread from Target don't even get a fair trial. You cannot tell me a man that's being accused of what they did to her, you cannot tell me he didn't get a fair trial. I mean, that he got a fair trial. And you cannot tell me that his lawyer was not communicating with the FBI and the CIA, because if Obama was saying something crazy, that might have actually endangered national security. But then again, what do I know? I am just a YouTube blogger giving you guys my opinion. You're going to have to do this research on your own, but I guarantee you, if you go to the court and you ask to see the court sketches for the date that the two Epstein guards were actually in Southern District of New York, were actually tried, even though the case is not on public docket, even though it's been suppressed from public dockets, even though there were no cameras or video footage, there was a tried and true court reporter that caught everything on her handy sketch pad, and the notes have to say who was there, who was present, a picture of each person sketched out, but also there needs to be the outcome. There needs to be the resolution of the case must be noted, and a sketch of the resolution must also happen. Therein lies the truth if you do this.